Well, every fisherman has a story about the one that got away. And as an investor, the publisher of Huntley's Your Money Weekly, Ian Huntley, is no different. I've got Ian here today to talk about some of the missed opportunities he's had and what he's learnt from them. Ian, what's your favourite story about the one that got away?
Oh, probably News Limited. Yeah. I was a copy boy and I had a few shares in News Limited back in the early 60s. I would have been the only copy boy that had a few. It mightn't have been, but I sold them. I sold them a bit later on. Now, if I'd kept them, it would have been enormous.
You've encouraged others to learn from their mistakes. What can we learn from missed opportunities?
You learn a lot about the stocks and why they went up and which ones went up and stayed up and continued to be great companies for a long period of time. Like, for instance, I did hold shares in Poseidon in the 60s for a while, but I'm glad I didn't keep them because they went broke. But they went from a few cents to $400 or close to $400, and they went back to nothing. So that's an example. But if I'd held my News Limited shares and still had them today, I'd still be pretty happy. But I haven't done much over the last 7 or 8 years. But I would have made a lot of money. But you know, that was the beginnings of a great entrepreneur with a great business.
Do you remember why you sold them?
I probably wanted the money to buy a house or take a girlfriend out or something. But the younger you start to buy and accumulate, the better. And of course, when you're young, you've got other things in your mind.
If you had to name one cause for why people often miss an opportunity, what would it be?
You know, there's a great phrase, you can't kiss all the pretty girls. And that's true of the opportunities in the share market. You can't get them all. There's a very interesting comment by Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett that they operate within their sphere of competence, their circle of competence. A British trader, punter, investor, Jim Slater, he put it a slightly different way. He called it the Zulu principle, and you had to concentrate on one particular market. Once again, the same thing. You can only invest in what you understand, and that is the first great law of investing. If you don't understand it, don't do it, and don't try to be any cleverer than you are.
So that's how you work out which girls to kiss?
Well, however that works, but you can't kiss them all, right? So simple in the stock market. Over the last 6 months, yeah, there's been some bits, but you couldn't get them all. Certainly I couldn't. Well, I'm very happy with what I've done.
In hindsight, it's a wonderful thing.
Oh, Harry, hindsight's marvellous. It drove you mad.
There is a downside to it, isn't there?
Well, if you're looking at missed opportunities, you know, it's I nicknamed one of my mates, he's a very good friend actually, If Only. He's been called If Only for many years because he used to say all the time, if only I'd done that. Well, you can drive yourself nutty. But what you can do is to sit down and say, well, why did I miss it? But you should also look on the other side of the sheet, which is a very interesting one. What did I do right? What did I do right? So at the end of the year, it's not a bad idea to look at the score sheet. What did I do wrong? A lot of people look at that too much. But you do both, and you learn from both. What did I do right, and what did I do wrong? What can I learn from what I've done?
Thank you, Ian.
That's a pleasure.